The hiring process at the school is done on a multi-step approach. I use something called top grading, and it is a three-tier system. So I do a interview one-on-one with the candidate at first. And in that interview, I'm really looking for their history and their past. So I talk a lot about their experiences from going right back to high school all the way through to teachers college to really find out a lot about them. And if there's an interesting thread, then I'll pull, but to find out about them as a person as well as a teacher. The second interview is done with another teacher. So I actually have a staff member of mine join us. Generally an experienced teacher. I have a very experienced teacher on staff that I use for that. And in that scenario, in that co-interview situation, we ask them to present a piece of material from a couple of different curriculum strands. So not all 5 areas of the early childhood curriculum, but we'll choose 2. Just to note their interaction with a potential child and their knowledge of Montessori and their modeling of a perfect presentation, or as perfect as we can, because that's what we try and impart to our children, so that the way in which they approach the teacher that I'm using becomes a child at that scenario, and the candidate will present to the teacher. I want to see that interaction because it's not enough just to ask about it. It's really important that they are presenting. And then that third interview is really in the classroom. And so it's inviting them in for an hour, almost like I would a student perspective for our school, and just to have them shadow in the classroom with a teacher, and not in a kind of a one-on-one situation, but just having them interact with our children in the classroom. So it's not observation by my teacher taking notes on them per se, but just how they flow into the classroom and interact with the children on a natural setting. So those are the 3 tiers that we do when we're hiring. A school is only as good as your teachers, and a head of school realizes that you're only there to support those staff members, and so you want to make sure that that decision isn't a hurried one. I learned years ago that I used to walk into interviews and just ask the questions I've always asked and not really prepare because the day got away from me. And now I'm very much the opposite. I block off an hour of my time before any interview and spend time delving into the resume and being in the right mindset to hire. Hiring a teacher that doesn't fit your culture is really an issue. So we also look for best fit, those who can take your mission and vision of the school and live it. So we need a staff member who realizes there's a greater expectation at this school because parent education to being a flagship Montessori school in the community is incredibly important to us being here in Louisville.